Do you know? I have been working to the point I got extremely dehydrated. Speaking of which, do you know what I'm doing? Guess. What am I doing? I'm drinking water, right? Fantabulous! You are wonderful children. You know, I was a little bit dehydrated, you know. I said, let me drink water now. At least it's not a bad thing. Boy, oh boy, man, that was something else. Now, let me tell you why I was drinking water. I was drinking water because I was thirsty. Yes. You know, I've come to realize that in life, as far as we human beings are concerned, we can't do without water. Even if we can do without water, it won't be long. You know, water is an essential part of what? Our life. Today in our STEM class, we're going to be talking about what? Water, water, water is life. Are you seeing it? Yes. Water is essential to our survival. Today, we're going to talk about water. Yes. Some things you didn't know about water is what I'm going to tell you today. Now, hold on. I know where you're going. Mr. Emmanuel, we've done water before now. Is it not the same water that we did? That they said sources of water, rain, tap, you know, good water and bad water, ways of purifying water. Of course. I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm not saying you don't have any idea. Of course you do. But the aspect of water that we want to talk about today is an aspect that most of us have not really talked about water before. Yes, the aspect of water that we're going to talk about today, by the end of the class, you'll be amazed. Yes, you'll be so amazed. Now, we all know that for a start, that the chemical formula for water is what? H2O. 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of what? Oxygen. Scientifically speaking and chemically speaking, anytime you see H2O, it means what? Water. But we're not going to come and start talking about the chemical aspect of water today. We want to look at the geographical aspect of water. Where does water come from? Why is water essential to our survival? We know that this planet we are living in, 70% of this planet is made up of water. Now, we want to look at those 70% of water, those water that we have, are they consumable? Are they drinkable? We want to look at water today from a different point of view. Yes, we want to look at water from what? A different point of what? View. A view that we never knew water actually did what? Existed. Before I proceed, I want you to think of what you ate today. You ate food, and even after eating those foods, what did you do? You drank water, right? See, I cannot come and start saying everything we need to know about water. There are so many things of how water is important to us. But let's get straight to it. Now, it might interest you to know that water is found everywhere on earth. Oh yeah, where you are staying, there's water there. Are you surprised? Where you are staying presently, there's water there. Everywhere. Even though you are seeing a dry ground, there is water there. Everywhere on the surface of the earth, there is what? Water. There's what? There's water there. It is not only on the ground though, even in the atmosphere, in the air there is water in form of what? Ice, liquid, in form of what? Ice, liquid and what? Vapor. Sometimes rain will fall and a particular place will be filled with water. But after the sun comes and shines after some time, you notice that the water does what? Dries up. That water was able to dry up in the process of what we call what? Evaporation. Pay attention, stay with me, stay with me. You have a lot to learn today. Now, we're going to look at some interesting water facts. Some interesting what? Water facts. Before we start talking about this water very well, let's look at some interesting facts about water that you should know. First of all, 97.24% of the Earth's water is found in salty ocean. Salty ocean. Now I know that some of us can remember that the types of oceans we have is what? We have the Pacific Ocean, we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have the what? Indian Ocean. Now, do you know that these oceans, they are all what? Salty. For those of you that have gone to beach, you know, like Lekki Beach or Elegushi Beach or Badagry Beach, you know, those water there, they form part of what? It is water from the ocean that you are seeing as what? Those water at what? At the beach. And those water are what? Extremely what? Salty. So they are telling us that 97.24%, get that straight into your head, 97.24% of the Earth's water is found in salty ocean. That's not all. 2.14% is found in ice caps and glaciers. 0.02% of water is found in inland seas and lakes. 0.61% of the Earth's water is found underground in aquifers and soil. Now, somebody will say, Mr. Emmanuel, I know what soil is, but I don't know what aquifer is. I know. The moment I said aquifers, I know you don't know what aquifer is. You're already confused. Now, let me tell you what aquifers are. Now, aquifers are bodies of saturated rock, mostly under the what? Ground. Bodies of what? Saturated what? Rocks, through which water can move. And they provide 99% of what? Groundwater. What do you say aquifers are? They are saturated rocks found under the what? Ground. That water moves through them. Now, if you notice, sometimes when you dig and 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 dig the ground, at some point, water starts coming out. Now, aquifers are under the what? Ground. Sometimes they provide what? Water. Now, we are saying that 0.61% of the Earth's water is found underground in aquifers and soil. Now, of all the water on Earth, 99% of that water is unusable by humans, which means, do you know that 99% of the water in this world, we cannot use it? Yes, we can't use it. Okay, only 0.3% of Earth's water is used by humans for drinking, washing, cooking, and other daily things within our house. This might sound strange to you, but that is just the truth. The water that we use is just 0.3% of the total water in the whole world. And they are telling us now that 99.7% of the water in the whole world, we can't drink it. We can't use it to wash. Because they are mostly what? Salty water. Like the ones in our ocean. This information is according to this website. You know, I have to make prep because I don't want someone to say, how did Mr. Emmanuel know all these things he said? You can go and check out this website for more information on how I came about this fact. These facts, I didn't just manufacture them for manufacturing sake. It is important that we know that truth is that we have more of water than land on earth, but most of those water are useless. Not as per the way the world is. It is useless in the sense that we can't drink it. We can't use it to wash. We can't even use it to cook. Talking about 99.7% of the water, we can't use it. So tell me, is it useful? Of course not. It's not useful. Okay? So these are some important things you need to know about water. Now, there's something else I want us to talk about this evening. What is drinking water? Somebody will say, Mr. Emmanuel, is the water you will drink like the one you were drinking? Of course, you are correct. Drinking water or drinkable water is water that is clean and good for what? Drinking. But like we said, not all water is good for what? Drinking. Drinking water is generally clean in Nigeria, okay? Because of strict drinking water quality standard. But there is no such thing as pure water. No water is pure. The reason why we say no water is pure is because before you drink that water has gone through water naturally. It's not clean. You know, qualities of good water are what? What are some of the qualities of good water? Who can tell me? Yes? Okay? Wonderful. I love what you guys said. Qualities of good water is what? It is colorless. It is odorless. It is what? Tasteless. But the truth of the matter is that you can't see any water that is tasteless, odorless, and colorless. Except maybe rainwater. But sometimes rainwater is not that clean. The reason why we say the water is there is no such thing as pure water is because water in its natural state goes through a lot of, it contains sediments. That is why sometimes the water still goes through some process for what? Purification before you can do what? Drink it. You can't just take the well water in your compound and drink. Even the so-called sachet water you drink, of course, that even reminds me. Let me even bring it to our attention. A lot of us call this pure water. A lot of us call this pure water, but the truth is that it is not pure water. It is sachet water, not pure water. That is just the way we call it anyway. Why do we say there is nothing like pure water? It is because the way water exists naturally, it contains chemicals. It must have undergone through some, not so pleasant process. So how does something, because anything that is pure water, once you bring it, you start drinking. But we can't just bring water and just start drinking just like that. That means we want to suffer cholera or diarrhea or typhoid. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, apart from that, there are two main sources of water. Yes, I know sources of water. The sources of water that we know is tap water, rainwater, well water. Am I wrong? Of course I'm correct. That is what we were taught. And that is what we taught you. But today we want to change your reasoning. We want to tell you that, hello, I keep telling my children, I said, we need to update you all with the latest knowledge. So that you won't be talking that there are 9 planets when there are actually 8 planets and 1 dwarf planet. Oh yes. We were taught there were 9 planets, but it has been, in fact, it has been discovered that there are even more planets than we know. But basically, the one in our solar system is 8 planets and 1 dwarf planet. So when next somebody asks you sources of water, tell them that sources of water are what? Surface water and what? Underground water. 2 types of water, 2 main sources of water is what? Surface water and what? Underground water. Then in surface water we have lakes, we have rivers, and we have reservoirs. Then in underground water we have aquifers, which is the rock where water comes from, and then wells. This aquifer kind of reminds me, based on the meaning I told us of what aquifers are. I said aquifers are rocks, are saturated rocks found under the ground that produces water or that gives way for water to pass or flow. Then it now reminds me of what Moses did in the Bible, I'm not trying to be religious here, but I remember that in the Bible we told that Moses struck a rock and water came out, and I've been asking myself questions. How is it that you will strike a rock and water will come out? But when I saw amplifiers, I now quickly understood. That was how water was able to come out of that rock. When he struck it, water came out. But how? I mean, we know that rocks are very hard substances. So how is it possible now that rock will bring out water? It's because rocks are the ones that bring out water are called, that they produce water on their own, they are called aquifers. Aquifers. I just learned that today. And I knew I was learning it today too. Okay? So, two main sources of water are what? Surface water and what? Underground water. Then in your underground water, you have wells and aquifers. Okay? Now, let me tell us something again that we need to know. Drinking water directly from a well or surface can be risky because it may have been contaminated by compounds such as metals, minerals, fertilizers, factory discharges, dissolved pharmaceutical substances. That is why I told us that there is nothing like pure water. We know that when we dig the ground, water comes out, but here we are being told that the water may have been contaminated by a lot of compounds, such as what? Metals, such as what? Minerals, such as what? Fertilizers, factory discharges, dissolved pharmaceutical substances. And these things makes the water unsafe for drinking, makes it unhygienic for us to drink. That is why most of the time we have to either boil the water or filter it or add alum just for it to be clean. And if we now eventually drink those waters that are contaminated, we go suffer them. Oh yes, we are going to suffer the consequences. Drinking contaminated water has a lot of what? Consequences, which includes liver disease, kidney problems, and even cancer. Yes. Oh, someone will be like, how does water cause cancer? Just don't. In fact, we don't have cancer. I don't know how because have cancer. But we're just telling us that in fact, drinking water that is contaminated is bad, and it can harm us. And the reason why the water causes cancer and liver and kidney problems is because it is due to the chemical spills, high level of minerals and toxins. Sometimes this water, oh my goodness. See, let me tell us something. Do you know that? In fact, oh my goodness. Can I tell us something? We human beings are the ones that are polluting the water bodies. Look at what he said. He said that this water that causes liver problem, kidney problem, is as a result of what? It has been contaminated by chemicals, spills, high level of minerals and toxins. But the question is, how did those toxins, chemicals get into the water? It is as a result of activities of you and I. We throw a lot of things inside the water. Now, even these shit they pack in your house, the feces they pack in your house, after packing it, they go and empty it in the lagoon. They go and pour it inside the water. Why? And those things are disorganizing and polluting the water bodies. Fishes and that's why some fishes that we eat, after eating fishes, we'll be asking ourselves, how do we? Most of them are high in iron, high in because of the chemical spills on and how we have damaged the water bodies. And these things are not good. Now, this is the level that we come in. Why do engineers care about drinking water? You know we're talking about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are relating science to what? How it it makes us, STEM talks about, integrating. It makes you understand how science makes you know that everything in your environment can be useful. It shows you the interconnection between those substances and what? Science. So, why do engineers care about drinking water? I'll tell us. Now, the engineers that care about drinking water are called what? Environmental engineers. Oh yes, and they are concerned about making drinking water safe for citizens. The engineers that are what? Concerned about making drinking water safe are called what? Environmental what? Engineers. Do you understand? And they have a lot of functions. They determine what contaminants are in the water. They determine the contaminants that may harm people. They are the sources of those contaminants, their effects. See, these environmental engineers, they do a lot of things. They study the environment, including water. I mean, water is part of our environment. Anyways, they figure out the things that contaminate the water. They figure out where they come from. They figure out why they harm people. The jobs of what? Environmental what? Engineers. Now, after collecting all this data, they go ahead to use it to create what? Municipal water treatment plants that may remove harmful contaminants from the water and provide clean, drinkable, and germ-free water for you and I. Now I know somebody is like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an environmental engineer. Our environment talks about what? Our surrounding. An environmental engineer is somebody that studies the environment, including water. Now, not only do they study the water, after studying the water, they also study what? Or they figure out the what? Things that contaminate or pollute the water. Now, after figuring out things that contaminate or pollute water, they figure out which part of our body they harm. Now, they collect those information. The next thing they do is that they use those information to provide what? Water that is safe and drinkable for you and I. Environmental what? Engineers. So, these are their functions. The functions of what? Environmental engineer. Their major functions to make sure that in Nigeria here we might not have a lot of them, but trust me, in America we have a lot of. See, these are specialists. They are what? Specialists. They specialize in studying. They specialize in figuring out all those information about water that we don't know. Now, what is water table? A water table is a surface that divides a vaduz zone and a saturated zone. Somebody is like, Mr. Emmanuel, what is vaduz zone and saturated zone? Oh, don't worry, calm down. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys a diagram. Okay, the diagram that shows the vaduz zone and saturated zone. So be sure to pause the video in the end so that you can properly do what? Understand what the vaduz zone is and the saturated zone is. But first of all, I would like you to listen to my explanation. Now, the vaduz zone is the zone exposed to the atmosphere with pores or opening, mostly filled with air. The saturated zone is the zone below the water table, where the pore spaces of the soil are filled mostly with water. Now, the best way to explain this now is that if you go outside in your compound, that place that your leg is not the one you cover with cement, like in a field, or for example, in school, not where we do assembly. In the other side where we park our school bus, you will notice that there is sand and some grass is there, right? You all remember, right? Good. Now, those sands are called what? Vaduz zone. Alright? Because they are exposed to the atmosphere, they are facing the sky. Okay? And they have openings, mostly filled with air. Those sands on the floor, that ground, what you call ground, is actually called vaduz zone. And it has opening. Alright, called what? The opening is called what? Pores, P-O-R-E-S. Okay, and they are mostly filled with what? Water. Now, the saturated zone is under. Alright, it's under that what? The water table. That is what, for example, now when you are digging, there is a level you get to, water will start coming out. Now, when that water is coming out, under, I don't know how to explain it, but just look at the end of this video. But just imagine, for example, now. Okay, let's do a little experiment. Now, for you to understand the connection, now you notice that this cup now has a depth. It has an inside, right? It has a ground, right? And it has a top. Now, I will fill it with water. Okay, now I didn't fill the cup with water, but the water is here. Okay? Now, this is me trying to explain Vaduz zone and saturated zone. Now, let's assume this is the earth crust. Alright? The earth crust. Now, this is the surface. Okay? Where your ground, this is your ground. Okay? So now, you know if you are looking at this, you're not seeing the water. Or can you see the water? You can't. What you are seeing is sand and stone, right? Now, if you now want to see the water, you will now start digging. You will dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And you will now eventually get to what? You will now eventually get to where the water is. Right? Good and fine. Now, when you get to where that water is, under that water, where the water ends, has another under. And that under is what you call what? Saturated zone. That's why we said that the saturated zone is the zone below the water table. So when you dig the Vaduz zone out, you see the water table. Okay? When you now, dive deep, like marine biologists, if you watch Nat Geo Wild in your DSTV, you understand all these things. When you see those deep sea divers, there's a place they will get to under the deep sea or deep ocean. They will see all these flowers and coral reefs under the water. You know that the sea actually has a depth. Yes, the sea has a ground. The sea. If you jump inside the ocean now, it has a depth. There's thousands of kilometers inside the water. And that place where that water stop, that sea and ocean are looking at is called what? Water table. But under it, down, where the water ends is called what? Saturated what? Zone. And they are mostly filled with water. Under the deep blue sea, there's what we call saturated zone. Just watch to the end, you will see the picture of what I'm trying to tell you. But what I'm trying to make you understand is that there is Vaduz zone and there is saturated zone. The Vaduz zone is the surface, but the saturated zone is like this way. Vaduz zone, water table, and then saturated zone. Now, what is groundwater? Let's look at groundwater, okay? Now, groundwater is the water source that comes from aquifers. You know, we said aquifers are rocks or sediments under the ground where water comes from, right? Fantabulous. So, groundwater is the water source that comes from aquifers. We said we have two types of water sources: surface water and what? Underground water. And underground water, the examples are what? Aquifers. Okay? So, groundwater is the water source that comes from aquifers below the earth's surface. That is why before you see water, you have to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. For some of you that have boreholes in your house, you can ask your dad, how? You pump water and the water goes up to the tank. But have you ever asked yourself, how were they able to get that water? I said at the beginning, I said, water is found everywhere on earth, including where you are standing. If you dig deep. Okay, so we said that groundwater is the water source that comes from aquifers below the earth's surface. About 20% of water used by people comes from groundwater. Example of groundwater: your borehole, your well. They are what? Underground water. Alright, the groundwater is tapped into by digging. How do you tap into the underground water? By digging or drilling water wells. That is what I was saying. You should ask your parents. How did they get that water? They have to dig and drill before the water will do what? Come out. So now, what roles do engineers? You know, we've talked about the first role of environmental engineers. Alright, and what did I say environmental engineers do? They are concerned with what? Making drinking water what? Safe. And how do they make water safe? They study water bodies. During the process of studying water bodies, they notice that some things contaminate the water. They study those things that contaminate the water and look for solution on how to get rid of those things that contaminate the water and make the water safe for you and me, not me, you and I, to drink. Okay, so now we say, what roles do engineers play in drinking water process? Now, environmental engineers don't just purify water, they also find locations of water to use for drinking. They design pathways to reach it and decide how to clean areas of contamination around the drinking water sources. Now, not only environmental engineers, civil engineers also design water treatment plants to monitor and modify water quality before human consumption. If you notice what I was talking about in this particular topic, you realize that in summary, what I am trying to say, or the meaning of all this big English you are seeing here, is simply telling us that how do we make water safe for us to drink? Being that we cannot survive without water, and not only can we not survive without water, water is an essential part of our lives. And even though we know that the whole world, 70% of the earth is covered with water, mostly made up of Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Indian Ocean. Now my question is that even in the midst of all those ocean and water that full everywhere, not all the water are good for drinking. They're not. And I gave you the facts. In fact, this note, I gave you facts. I told you the water. You see, we have a lot of water bodies, but they are not all good for drinking. So the jobs of these environmental engineers, these civil engineers, is that they try their possible best to look for ways that they can make the water purifiable and drinkable, by making us understand that there are two main sources of water: surface water and underground water. Oh yeah, of course. Now somebody is asking, rain, where does rain belong? Rain belongs to surface water. Abi, does rain come underground? Rain doesn't come from under the ground, okay? You know, it falls from the sky. You know, after falling, the sun comes out, dries it, it evaporates back and forth. So rain is categorized as what? Surface water. And we said that naturally, water is what? Contaminated. That is why environmental engineers and civil engineers have to look for ways to make the water better for drinking. Am I communicating? So, let's write this down. But don't forget at the end of this video, watch out for that diagram so you can understand what the vacuum zone and the saturated zone is. Alright? And I know that even if you didn't learn anything today, you learned about aquifers, yeah, which are rocks that give out water. That's like Moses in the Bible. Okay, so please write down your notes, prepare for your classwork. When you are done, just let me know. You know, this is just like to update the knowledge we know about water. You know, we talked about the water that we know. You know, Essential talks about, you know, sources of water and purification of water. But that knowledge has been updated. Okay, so make sure you write down these notes. read them and prepare for your classwork. When you are ready, just let me know. I'll send you the link for your classwork. And always remember, Mr. Mone loves you all, but you all have to try to stay safe and keep learning. Alright? Keep learning until I come your way next time. Keep learning and stay safe. Alright? Have a wonderful day.